welcome everybody to Sahoja and thank you for helping to spread kindness. So this is a short series of interviews that we are doing, introducing the ethical brands who are on Sahoja's ethical marketplace. They're all doing amazing work, helping to transform their worlds and helping to spread kindness. And today I'm introducing Sunshine Nuts. I have their CEO and founder, Don Larson. And, if you go to their site, he says this, and I love it actually. He says, it's possible to create a premium food product and transform lives and communities at the same time. Sunshine Nuts are doing it every day with cashews. It's an ethical brand that actually fits in, that supports all 8 causes that Sahoja supports: poverty alleviation, sustainability, community building, education, rights of children, and women's empowerment. It does it all. And Don's story is an interesting one. He was an executive or a director at Hershey's, and in 2011 he sold everything in the USA and went and settled in Mozambique, where he started a cashew factory. And so I'm really honored to be introducing Don to you. Welcome, Don.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Raj. Very much.
So tell me something about the Sunshine product. What is the product?
So the product is a premium cashew, roasted to perfection, all done at the growing source. So my family and I located in Mozambique, Africa, 10 years ago. We opened up the company probably about 7-8 years ago, and we've been roasting perfection since. And the reason is because normally a cashew is grown and shipped tens of thousands of miles around the country, around the world, getting processed in various places. We do everything right next to the trees that they're grown on. And the cashews that you taste in your supermarket, if it is not in a Sunshine Nut bag, are exhausted by the time they actually get to the factories to be roasted. You got bland, stale, soggy, nasty cashews, and people eat them because they don't know any different. And what we've been able to do is demonstrate a completely different type of taste experience. And the retailers that I brought them into, who love cashews, now cannot eat any other cashews besides ours, because we take them off the trees. When they are removed from the shell, we get them into the package within days with a very premium experience. And what we're doing with the company, though, is the only way you can make advances to the communities is not to collect 10% more for your product and then write a check to some charity that goes and does something in the community. It's to live within the community, to be involved with the farming community, to give employment, to understand their concerns and their problems and solutions. And what we've been doing for 10 years now is engaging with the poorest people of the world with a solution that will solve a lot of the issues that have been plaguing them for centuries.
So thanks for that, Don. Before we go further into that, tell us, where is Mozambique? Just to
So Mozambique is on the eastern coast of southern Africa. It is right next to South Africa at the tip, the bottommost tip, right next to Zimbabwe and Malawi, and right south of Tanzania. It's got 1,500 miles of most beautiful, pristine beaches. It's got tropical breezes that flow through the cashew trees to create the best tasting cashews in the world.
That sounds lovely. So you could have gone travel. I don't know why Mozambique. I mean, out of all the countries, maybe why Mozambique?
Yeah, so Mozambique had a story. They were the #1 cashew producing country in the world up until the 70s, which when they gained independence from the Portuguese, then they went into a civil war. Combine that with a strategic move by the world political establishment with banking policies and different things to shift the industry to other places, it really decimated the whole cashew industry of Mozambique, and obviously tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people's livelihoods. So we're bringing that back by coming to Mozambique and allowing the opportunity to regain their crown of being the king of cashews.
Wow. Yeah, you might have some competition there, Don.
I know.
um, so I started by saying, in fact, you support 6 of the 8 causes that Sahoja supports. That includes poverty alleviation, sustainability, community building, right to children. What is your ethical stance? I mean, can you explain some of the ethical stances that you've taken? Why? What motivates you to do that?
Oh, gosh. So really what we're looking to do, we are all encompassing in our approach. So I like to think of, we're replacing the dependence that exists in society with independence. We're replacing handouts that create that dependence and create that entitlement with hand ups, with the ability for people to fend for themselves and earn a living for themselves. And that is the entitlement, rather than being entitled to, what are you going to give me now? They're earning, and the pride of a. We're replacing despair with hope, adversity with opportunity, stagnation with transformation, worthlessness with dignity, and failure with excellence. And it all basically, when it comes down to addressing things, we're providing hope, we're giving opportunity, we're initiating transformation. And it's those are the things that, we're modeling value, we're operating in love, we're involving community, and we're exemplifying excellence. So where do we get? Every facet of society we're engaged in and battling the entrenched negative components of that. Okay, so I got a lot of scars, but it's scars that are well worth getting the pain inflicted to try and change. And we're change agents here, we're disruptors. And we're trying to introduce a new way of doing business and a new way of ushering in prosperity.
It's right. Now let's get, 90% of Sunshine Nuts profits go back to the community. 90%. I mean, how can you afford to do that? One, and secondly, what kind of work is that money invested in?
So the 90% is the distribution to shareholders. So we operate the company, taking care of the company. Okay. So we pay off our obligations, we reserve cash for growth, those types of things. It's what, as 100% owner of Sunshine Nut, my family, it's what we would be getting as a distribution to the shareholders. And that is what we have elected as a family to give back into the communities. And what we do is 30%, and my wife handles the philanthropic organization that funnels this back into the communities. We have designated 30% to orphan and vulnerable care, 30% to the farming communities, and 30% to grow the concept. So there's an automatic growth component where we're forced to get into things like tomato sauce and chocolate and honey and all these other smallholder farmer categories in different nations, in different villages. But the 30%, we're largely doing a lot of sunshine houses, which we buy homes, and we're starting to build homes because it's been very costly to upgrade to what we consider a livable house. Rather than buy one and upgrade it, we are building homes now. Introduce a widow or a very vulnerable woman who's struggling to survive. We pair her up with 3 to 5 orphans, and we create a family. Wow. And that family is what we then nurture with the proceeds of the company. We put the kids in private school. We take care of, a lot of it is instilling values, but not Western values, just values of how to thrive and flourish. And we make it a point that these children are raised in a Mozambican culture, in a Mozambican environment, to be able to prosper within a Mozambican society.
Right.
Now, the other part is the farming community. That's where this vertical integration comes in with Project Sunshine. which is to take care of the farming community issues like we've done with the widows and the orphans.
I mean, farmers have suffered so much, and that's just a global phenomenon now of recent times. Can you tell us of some of the impacts your work has done in the local region in Mozambique?
Yeah, so the impact kind of touches all areas of society, because when you're going up against, I like to say, when we hit an obstacle, my entire career at Hershey was a change agent. And wherever there was major problems within the company, they had a new job every year, whether to sort out factories or purchasing or corporate level project, whatever. So what we do is we go up against obstacles. And I've trained my staff that every obstacle, every situation is an opportunity for us to change things for the better. So the bigger the obstacles, be excited. Don't be upset. Don't have fear, anxiety, and panic. Have love, joy, and peace, knowing that what we offer is something so amazing and so good that whoever is up against us will be able to see it and change their ways and follow us to a new and better way of life. And that happens 50% of the time. The other 50%, we make examples of them because they're doing something that is affecting society and making the place poor and corrupt and in a place where it's hurting people. So we have a kind of a love in one hand and love in one hand and a sword in the other hand.
You can either love me or fear me.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, can you give examples? You mentioned you got scars. I hope they're not actual scars. What kind of obstacles have you kind of faced in dealing with in trying to pursue your ethical stance?
Well, there's groups that don't want this business model to succeed. And so it's great people like Sahoja that makes it succeed, that gives us a platform to be heard in what we're trying to do, and that's what's great about partnering with you guys. But on the other end are people that don't want to see it succeed. And so we have people come in that government officials that want to audit us. We have delays. We have so many delays, and I have tactics. Luckily, I'm gaining more and more people that are helping us. And so, and I've got a whole arsenal of people behind me, but I prefer not to use that because that creates conflict and further resentment. I like to engage with each person and try and change their ways and have them understand. But it involves, it's all facets, whether it's financing, whether it's permitting, whether it's logistics. We see it all. We have major logistics issues and holdups at the port and trucks being held. So those types of things we're battling through, and we're discovering how to work in this type of environment.
Got it. I mean, so what advice would you give to others who want to pursue a strong ethical culture for their business? They're going to start an ethical business, or they want to transform their culture into one which adopts an ethical approach. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say be prepared for conflict, and be willing to engage. As they say, count the costs before you do this. Are you ready to engage and fight for what's right? That's one thing that I would consider. The second thing is know what you're doing. I mean, I was prepared for this over decades, starting from when I graduated college. I built a lot of factories. I installed a lot of lines. I ran factories. I was negotiator. I was given procurement for a large corporation. I had every facet, and I have to use all those skills every day in order to make my way through and get through the issues. Not just get through them, but allow others who follow behind me an easier way to get through them. So I would say, know what you're doing. And then 2, understand what you're getting into. And are you going to, the first year we got our house was invaded by guys with AK-47s. They wanted
No.
cars. They pushed me around. They had my wife and kids kneeling on the front driveway. They brought me into the house looking for the keys, and the guy was pushing me around with the AK-47 gun. He was counting down the end of my life, and he started to count down, and I couldn't find the keys. So I yelled out to my wife, "Terry, where are the car keys?" Because he was down there like 20, and I'm like, I got 20 seconds to live. And she's like, my wife says, "Don, I tell you all the time to put your keys in one spot, because one day you're going to really need them and you're not going to be able to find them. And I told you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great, Terry. I got like 4 seconds left. You're going to hear the gunshots soon. And you're going to be really sad that you said that to me." And the guy got to 0, and he looked at me. I looked at him, and he started to count again. So I got a lot quicker, and I found the car keys. And they drove away with 2 of our cars. I don't know if that was more of an intimidation to get me to leave the country and stop what I'm doing. But the government, and I know some senior level people in the government, they're like, "You're going to stay after that?" Everyone, they faced any type of difficulty. I'm like,
I mean, hold on, Don. I mean, that's precisely the point. I mean, why did you stay after that? I mean, a normal person would just want to leave and not undergo even the risk of that. Why did you stay?
But that's part of the cost. I knew, and I know I'll be faced with those issues. That's why things are the way they are. And so you've got to be committed to doing this. And I told the government, I said, "I'm doing this. That is a reason why I'm doing this. There are no jobs, there's desperation. The people riot for these reasons. I bring a business model and an opportunity that will bring prosperity and a flourishing and employment and hope and transformation to the country. So I'm going to hang in there. I know it's going to be tough, but someday this vision will be completed."
I mean, do you know? I just think about your package, of lovely, tasteful, sunshine nuts. And then I suppose what people don't really see is the sweat and what you've had to go through to produce those packets of nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. And, when I do go back and I'm talking with retailers and I'm talking with distributors and I'm talking with investors, and they're like, "Well, you seem pretty desperate. Instead of that 8% loan I'm going to give you, I'm going to make it 20%. I'm like, "Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that vote. I appreciate that help quite tremendously,
Don, it's
Yeah.
been great speaking with you. I mean, I forgot to tell everybody he's speaking from Mozambique. So there you go.
Yeah, it's beautiful here. Everyone come and visit. I'll give you some cash.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to actually. Don, thanks for spreading kindness. Thank you. And
thank you for inviting me, Raj.
Yeah, and everybody, go to Sahoja Ethical Platform Marketplace, and you can buy your nuts from there, and also at the same time be rewarded by Sahojas, which is our currency of kindness. Thank you all. Thank you, Don. Take care.
Thank you.